Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5:30.
Just hours ago, the Oregon Department of Education put out their initial guidance for how schools could return in the fall. Good evening and thanks for joining us for NBC 16 at 5:30. I'm Alan Matthews. They say these operational blueprints will come from the districts, not the state, and will evolve throughout the year based on feedback and the public health situation. The superintendent says they're preparing for the potential of a second wave after bringing more than 500,000 students and staff back together. They say physical distancing and hygiene are key, especially in small group settings.
So like you see in grocery stores now across Oregon, we'll see plastic shields go up so that there's a barrier between the student and the educator, but that they can see each other and make that connection.
They say some schools will operate on site every day. Other schools will be in a hybrid model where students alternate days on site. Other districts may have to choose to do all distance learning. Governor Kate Brown hopes this plan is good enough to keep schools open even during a second wave of coronavirus cases.
That's the goal. We think it's really important that every student get a good quality education, that we keep our students safe and healthy, and that we protect our teachers and staff that are teaching and helping in our classrooms and our schools. So that's the goal of the plan, is to continue to ensure that our students get a high quality education.
Also today, Governor Brown announced a Healthy Schools Reopening Council. She notes the pandemic has disproportionately impacted students from underserved communities, and the council will help ensure equitable access. For months, we've been reporting about problems with Oregon's employment department and the thousands of people who've lost jobs during the pandemic who are still desperately waiting for benefits. Part of the issue has been transparency, and that's one thing the newly appointed acting director is working to improve. Today, David Gerstenfeld held his first weekly media briefing where he announced several of the steps the department has taken to fix the backlog. That includes bringing on more staff, making improvements to the website, and increasing communication with Oregonians.
We heard very clearly the frustration that the public was sharing with us about their not being able to get through to us on the phone lines and the other challenges, and we really rededicated our focus to looking at any possibility of what we could do to help.
Gerstenfeld says so far 97% of claims filed between March 15th and today have been processed, and $1.5 billion of benefits have been issued.
I'm tired. I'm tired of pain. Pain you feel when you watch something like that. When you watch your big brother, who you looked up to for your whole life, die begging for his mom. I'm here to ask you to make it stop.
A powerful moment on Capitol Hill today. Villainese Floyd, George Floyd's brother, is calling for lawmakers to act following his brother's death. Today he spoke before the House Judiciary Committee during an oversight hearing on policing and law enforcement accountability. He told House lawmakers to, quote, make the necessary changes to make law enforcement the solution and not the problem. While the streets of Eugene and across the world have been filled in efforts to fight for change, some local voices have been advocating to end racism for decades. NBC 16's Cassandra Gutierrez joins us now in the studio after talking to Eugene City Councilor Greg Evans. So Cassandra, Evans has been in the Eugene area for over 30 years now. How has he played a role in this current movement?
Alan, Greg Evans has not only been a guest speaker at protest, he is also the only African American on Eugene City Council. He shares with us his reality as a person of color living in Eugene.
I've experienced racism in different forms. When I first came to Eugene, the first time I was ever stopped by a police officer was when I was walking down 13th Street. And that was back in the 1980s.
Just 3 days in Eugene, Evans says he was being interrogated as a suspect in a murder investigation that happened in Seattle.
Apparently that evening, from what I understood, was that every African-American person that they could find was stopped and questioned about that particular incident.
The experiences didn't stop there.
I've experienced it, walking through the park. it's pretty pervasive here. Racism is not much different in Eugene as it is in most of the rest of the country.
The current protest reminding him about the Rodney King's rallies.
Racism is ingrained in the culture of the United States of America, and it is a very tough thing to turn around.
Evans hopes that the murder of George Floyd serves as a catalyst for making progress.
We need to examine ourselves in all aspects. We all have issues with regard to race based on, how all of us were raised in this country, and it's up to us to change those dynamics.
Combating racism one generation at a time.
I've been through a lot personally.
Evans mentions although it is too soon to see changes being implemented, City Council has had conversations about making Eugene an even more welcoming place.
All right, thank you so much, Cassandra. Well, Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley are co-sponsoring a bill called the Justice in Policing Act of 2020. It would prohibit federal, state, and local law enforcement from racial, religious, and discriminatory profiling. It would also ban chokeholds, require the use of dashboard and body cameras, and establish a national police misconduct registry to prevent problematic officers who are fired or leave an agency from moving to another jurisdiction without any accountability. We now take our first look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart is standing by, and the problem with days like these is people get really excited to get back outdoors, but it sounds like this warmth is going to be short-lived.
Oh, very short-lived. A little kind of early taste of summer. Of course, we're just about 10 days now away from the official start, but it was kind of muggy out there. Temperature is about 5 to 10 degrees above where we were this time yesterday through the valleys, but those humidity values kind of oppressive out there. 60% for the southern Willamette Valley, a little bit drier down towards the Umpqua Valley with 40%, but North Bend, Coos Bay area, 78%, kind of on the stifling side, but definitely making it feel a little bit warmer out there as opposed to what we saw over the past several days. 72 degrees is where we currently sit in the Eugene Springfield area, and we did manage to squeeze out just a few raindrops across the area early this morning. 7/100ths of an inch in the Eugene Springfield area. Newport, the breadwinner, at just over 1/10 of an inch. But radar and satellite definitely showing just a few clouds pushing their way eastward now after seeing a quick little thunderstorm develop in the far eastern regions of Lane County. But for tonight, we are going to see the clouds increase, and we're talking about more widespread rain. I'll have all those details in my full extended forecast in just a few.
All right, thank you so much, Josh. Well, theft in Springfield recently caught on camera. A porch pirate stealing groceries in Springfield from an elderly couple with deliveries at an all-time high. Police are warning residents to be on the lookout. NBC 16's Kelsey Christensen reports.
We order from Fred Meyer, and it's always been just great.
For Mary Lou Smead and her husband Ralph, getting groceries delivered to the door makes life a lot easier.
We're getting to the age where it's hard for us to get to the store, to drive out and stuff.
But to their surprise, their latest food supply never showed up, at least they thought.
I asked Ralph to check and see if the groceries were there. And he did. He said, no, there's none there. And I thought, well, maybe I put down a different time. I forgot.
That's when they checked their Ring camera, realizing they fell victim to Porch Pirates. You can see a couple in a black Dodge Caravan pulling up as a man in his 30s hops out and takes their groceries right off their porch and drives off.
I was mad. Hey, I wish I were there and asked him what he's doing.
And it's not just Mary Lou. The number of deliveries are at an all-time high, creating an opportunity for crime.
Certainly, we're starting to see more of it.
Sergeant David Grice with the Springfield Police Department says residents need to be on the lookout.
For me, personally, I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, and I get notifications when items are being delivered. If you've got a work address that'll work, where it can be handed off to somebody in a secure area.
But despite the theft, there is some good news to this story. Police reimbursed the Springfield couple with a $75 gift card to Fred Meyer. And according to Mary Lou Smead, the Porch Pirate didn't get all of her goodies.
I'd say you didn't take them all. You left 2 gallons of milk.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Kelsey Christensen.
If you do have any information about the crime, you're asked to contact the Springfield Police Department. They say the suspect has a large tattoo on his forearm. The University of Oregon is again considering renaming the oldest building on campus. DeeDee Hall is named for Matthew DeeDee. He established the UO School of Law, was Oregon's first federal judge, and was also a supporter of slavery. The UO's Board of Trustees says they are looking to rename the hall in the coming weeks. UO President Michael Schill sent out a statement today supporting the denaming. The UO considered renaming the hall several years ago, but decided in early 2017 to retain the name. Coming up on your only local news at 5:30, despite several people protesting in Eugene for nearly 2 weeks, health officials have not seen any spike in coronavirus cases. We checked in with Lane County Public Health on what additional measures they are taking.